Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Fearless Generations with Terry Sayer and Kelly Fox.
Hello, and welcome to Fearless Generations, 12 Steps to Freedom. I am Kelly Fox, and I'm excited to be here with you tonight. Tonight is step 5. We have moved on to a new month and a new step, and the step today is accountable. And tonight is introduction night, and so you know what that means. Anything goes, all things accountable, and how it can support us to be in freedom or with less fear. So let's get going. I will introduce my beautiful co-host, Terry Sayer. How are you doing tonight, Terry?
I'm doing so much better, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you, honey.
I am so glad. I'm so glad that you are feeling better. It has been a process for us all, and it is almost over. So, exciting things. We also have an awesome guest coach for all of you tonight. She has been on the show before, and we are happy to have her back. Please welcome Michelle Teague.
Thank you so much for having me, Kelly and Terry. It's really a pleasure to be on your podcast. I just love working with the two of you.
Oh,
ditto. Thank you. Yes. Yes. So, Michelle, please remind the audience, who is it that you get to serve, and what is it that you get to do?
Sure. I get to serve a lot of different people. I mostly work with HR professionals and business owners. I help them with some of the challenges that they have with their organizations. It could be retention issues, keeping the really good people there at their organization. It could be conflict going on in the workplace and information not flowing. It could also be low productivity and people not on the same page, moving in the same direction. I help with a lot of those types of challenges. In addition, I help individuals when it comes to reaching the goals that they have, the dreams that they have, that vision that they have for their future, and making sure they're moving in the right direction.
Awesome. And what brought you to do that?
When I was a corporate trainer, I would see a lot of people rise up to leadership positions, and within 6 months I would see them fail miserably. And I did my best while I was a corporate trainer to provide them with the support that they needed. But what I found was a lot of companies out there didn't want to do that. They would just rather go through the process of hiring somebody new. And so I started my own company because I knew people wanted to succeed. I knew people wanted what was not only best for the organization, but what was best for them. And that's what I do, is I help bring out the best in the individuals that I work with.
That's so awesome. I love that. See a need, feel a need, right?
Exactly. And the need is always there. There are so many people that need that. And you know that. You know that from working with a lot of your clients.
Mhm. Yeah. And Terry works with a lot of organizations too, helping them with their leadership and all of that kind of stuff as well. So, yeah. Yeah.
And
fun.
Am I remembering right, Terry? Once upon a time, you were a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
For
That's what.
years. For 30 years.
That's what I thought. And I know we're going to be talking about accountability today. And when you're a teacher, especially when you're helping to encourage young minds to develop a sense of accountability that can be a little bit different than working with adults and accountability. So I was thinking about that earlier today and thinking, oh, yeah, she would hold them accountable, but it was at a very different level than what you do with adults.
Yeah, there. Honestly, Michelle, there are a lot of similarities. A lot.
I believe that.
Yeah, really. It's kind of amazing when I was. Sometimes when I'm giving a talk or, sharing my values or my ideas at different in my position in municipal government, I'll often say, there's really not a lot of difference between teaching kindergarten and working with adults. There's probably less with young children, because I worked mainly with really young children. There's a level of vulnerability and curiosity that kind of gets knocked out of people as they get older. There's working with people who want to change and want to be accountable to their dreams and goals. There's that same level of vulnerability and curiosity, and that willingness to open their their thoughts and their hearts and really bring that into synergy and move forward. And that's kind of what kids, when they first come to school, I mean, now it's kindergarten's not most children's first foray into school, because there's so many preschools and kids have kind of made that transition. Because I used to be, when I first started teaching, you were the first transition from mom to school, and that was a real challenge for a lot of children. And so building that confidence, that desire to be accountable to learning and to this whole new landscape that they've never experienced before. And a lot of adults, when they've made that, they've become aware and they've made that willingness and the decision that they want to change and they want to move forward, it's a whole new landscape for them as well. And it's that excitement. There's a level of excitement and a level of anticipation and courage, and when you're in that position, that's really similar to a child's first foray into school. So I find that it's kind of the same level of excitement or anticipation, or really looking forward to that, to walking beside that adult, just like walking beside that child who has that same desire. It's kind of the first time they can read and they recognize a word, and they, it's just, there's so much excitement. It's kind of like the first time an adult that's wanting to change their mindset sees things with gratitude rather than fear. That it's that kind of that same kind of feeling, and I think that's why I like coaching, is because you're walking beside. I always felt teaching was coaching as well. You're walking beside a learner, you're walking beside an adult who's a learner, who's willing to open their heart, their mind, and that's the way I always felt about little kids. So there's more similarities than you might think.
I believe it.
Yeah, and I think we're taught at a young age to be accountable, but I think that we're taught to be accountable to others. We're not necessarily taught how to be accountable to ourselves. So, Michelle, what does that mean to you?
That's a great question, Kelly. And I was thinking about that earlier today, because the reality is, once you do become an adult and you have a lot of choices out there, you have a lot more freedom, and you start making decisions for yourself, you start making choices for yourself. You also, start holding yourself accountable for the decisions and the choices that you make. And when it comes to being accountable to yourself, this is where you've got a combination of integrity and honesty and accountability kind of all go together, because when it comes to telling yourself, this is what I want to accomplish, when you set personal goals, and it can be on anything. It could be, I want to finish that degree program that I started years ago. It could be, I want to start eating healthy. It could be, I want to get that promotion at work. Whatever the goal is that you set for yourself, you are responsible for achieving that goal. Somebody else can't do it for you. And when it comes to being accountable to yourself, that's what is really keeping you on track. You've got that, like I said, that combination of integrity of doing what you said you were going to do. Even though you're not you may not necessarily be telling the entire world that this is what your plan is, this is what you want to do. Now, I would encourage people to do that, because it makes it a whole lot easier to keep yourself accountable. But when it comes to overcoming some of your fears and cutting through some of the barriers that you place on yourself, you have to hold yourself accountable, because nobody else can. The reality is, as coaches, we can remind our coaching clients, this is what you said you wanted to accomplish, this is the reason why, but we can't do it for them. They have to do it themselves. And accountability means exactly that they said they were going to do it, and they did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I was thinking about that this morning when I was doing my Facebook Live, and like, this is usually the time when everybody stops doing their New Year's resolutions, right? Like they lasted a month, and then in February it kind of dies off. Right? So how well are we at keeping those commitments that we make to ourselves? Especially when we don't tell anyone, right? Because then nobody knows that we're not doing it, right? Yeah, and so it's so much easier to just stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's why it's important to have an accountability partner, or to have a coach, or to have a mentor who understands what it is that you're trying to achieve, who understands what you're trying to accomplish. Because if you're trying to do it all on your own, it's very easy to tell yourself, well, I didn't do it this week, but I'll do it next week. Or, well, I got busy in other areas of my life, I'll get back to this. It's super easy for us to tell ourselves that, but the reality is we're not helping ourselves. We're not creating the better life that we envision for ourselves if that's what we do.
Right. Right. Yeah, I love that. I know for me, it is so much more likely that I will do something if I involve another person. So, I write my acknowledgments, my gratitudes every morning, and then I take a picture of them and I send it to my accountability partner. I've been doing this for like 3 years now. Yeah. And I might go a day or even 2 days without doing it, but then I know she knows I'm not sending it to her.
Yep.
And so I get back to it.
Yeah, because at some point in time, she's going to say, what's going on? Is everything okay?
Right.
I haven't received anything from you in a while. What can I do to help you? And that's it. If somebody else knows about it, every time that they see us, every time we have a conversation with them, they're going to ask us, how are things going? And that's part of accountability, is when other people are saying to you, did you do what you said you were going to do? And we've got to have an answer for them. And nobody wants to tell them, oh, no, I decided I didn't want to do that after all. People want to follow through with the commitments that they make to themselves. They want to follow through with the goals that they set for themselves because they're important to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it.
Right. They wouldn't have said it in the first place, right?
No.
Yeah, I set all these reminders on my phone. Remember to do this, remember to do that, and they'll come up and I'll just swipe them away. Oh, yes, that's such a nice reminder, and I swipe it away, but I keep it there. Even though I know I swipe it away, I know it's going to come up and it's going to continue to remind me. And, and I'm going to be like, Kelly, just do it. Instead of just swiping it away, actually do it. So I think it's important that we have those reminders, that we have those partners that help us to remember why we want these things for ourselves, or why, what we're going to gain by doing the things that we've set goals for, or whatnot. And it's really important to choose people that are going to support us and build us up and believe in us. But I think it's also important to know what type of support we need, so that we can tell them, I need you to do this. Because if we don't, people are going to support in the way that they know how, and it may not be actually supportive to you.
Exactly.
So, knowing how you want to be supported and explain that to the person you're asking for support, so that they can really be there for you in a way that's going to support you in getting those things done.
Well, and not only that, but letting them know when to do that, because it may not necessarily be that you need a reminder every single day. It may be that every 3 or 4 days you need somebody to reach out to you and say, hey, where are you in the process? What have you accomplished so far? And because for some of us, some of the things that we do, it isn't necessarily a daily thing. Sometimes it's something that we do every few days or once a week. You still need to be able to answer, though, what it is that you're doing. And you're right, you need to make sure it's the right person for you. Because if it's the wrong person, A, they're not going to follow up with you, and B, they're also not necessarily going to truly care if you accomplish what you set out to do.
Yeah. Terry, how about you?
Yeah, I am. I feel like accountability to yourself is probably the one thing that helps you to move forward better than, more efficiently and effectively than anything else. And I think for me, I like to journal about that. It helps me a lot to write down my gratitudes and acknowledgments, and I have a set of non-negotiables that I do every day that I haven't been doing for the last month too well, but I'm back to that this morning. I actually started in my journal how I felt ready to start doing that, to be more accountable to those non-negotiables, because they make me feel like I'm moving forward and that I'm doing the things I promised myself that I would do. And so I just feel like that's helping me to, feel more like I can one day soon get back to myself and be able to do those things that make me feel like I'm in freedom and make me feel like I can be the person I want to be, because I haven't had the strength to do that. And that's kind of my mantra right now. My prayer every day is that I can gain a little bit more strength so that I can be more accountable to the person that I feel like I've lost, and really be able to move forward. And by being accountable to the steps that I've taken and I've set for myself as far as my goals and my dreams and my daily steps forward, the more I can get back to those. My life may not ever be the same as it was before. There may be things I'll have to pivot on and look at it in a different way based on how long it takes me to get my strength back. But being accountable to those things that are important to me, that make me feel like I'm living the life that I want to live, encourage me rather than discourage me. And so I think being accountable to those things is really moving forward, bit by bit. Also having grace for myself, knowing that it's going to take me some time to get back to that place, or even maybe to a new place. I don't know, at this point in time, I really don't know. But the accountability is really validating and supportive and a positive thing for me right now.
That's wonderful, Terry.
Yeah.
And
also
I think
being accountable to, sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
No, I think it also proves that everybody, it doesn't matter where you are in life and what you're going through, you can always make progress. And
right.
You can always be accountable to yourself. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You can do something. And so that's a great reminder, Terry. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm in this limbo space that if I don't move forward, I feel like I'm really moving backwards. And so it's become very important to me to each day do something more than I did the day before. So this will sound funny, but today I made my bed. I haven't made my bed for a month because I've had to get into it periodically throughout the day. And so I just held myself accountable to not going to bed, and I made it through the day without having to go to bed again. And so it's kind of like, how much do I progress, and how accountable am I to doing new things that I don't hinder my health progress? So I kind of feel like I'm really in an experimental stage right now. How much to do, how much not to do, and what's the most important things for me to be accountable for and accountable to. And so it's it's talking to my doctor. It's just being able to say no, things that I probably wouldn't have done before. But it's important that I'm accountable to my recovery. So it feels funny. It just it's like, because I've never been here before, right? This is never a space I've been in. So it's navigating this space and still holding myself accountable to my being in not getting sucked into fear, but knowing that faith that I can move forward, and that's what I want to be accountable to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That right now, the accountability, you're being accountable to your health and your recovery, and adding in, new things each day so that you can still have recovery and be accountable to that, but also, getting a little bit closer to doing the things you were doing before. Yeah. So I love that. Well, ladies, we are almost out of time, and I want to give Michelle some time to share how listeners can get a hold of her, and if she has anything else she'd like to share with them.
Sure. Listeners can get a hold of me a couple of different ways. First and foremost, you can go to my website. My website is ateagueofyourown.com, and on my website. It's got my contact information. My phone number's there. But also on my website, if you click on either the pop-up or if you go to the gift page, you can get a SMART Goals worksheet. And I encourage people to sit down, set some SMART goals for yourself, and then, text me your name and your SMART goal, and I'll help you with your accountability. You tell me, what it is that you set your goal for and when it is that you want to achieve it, and by golly, I'll be texting you and saying, hey, where are you? Because if it's important enough for you to set a goal and to share that with me, then it's important enough to me to make sure that you actually achieve that goal, and I help you to hold yourself accountable for it. So I encourage your listeners to go to my website, ateagueofyourown.com, and grab that SMART goal worksheet and text me what your SMART goal is so that we can make sure that you're accountable for doing it.
No, that's great.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. I love that. Thank you so much. And please share that information in the Facebook group so that they can have easy one-click access to your website and know that they can text you and have that accountability. That's very generous of you with your time.
I sure will. Yep. I think, like I said, it's important that people have somebody that they can bounce these goals against and let people know what it is they want to accomplish. And I'm more than happy to do that for them.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Sure.
Any last words on being accountable?
More than anything, like I said, it's following through with what you said you're going to be doing. So it's being committed to what it is you want to achieve and then having the integrity to follow through and doing it. It all works together.
Yeah, I love that. Terry?
Yeah, I think that when you talk about an accountability partner, I feel like that's an ask. That's a reaching out. That's being vulnerable and saying, I'd like to have someone help me to reach this goal and to be accountable. And I think that's a really important part of developing that capacity to have the integrity to do what you say you're going to do, is admitting I need some help. So I'm going to have an accountability partner, and we're going to help each other to become accountable and to understand the concept of accountability and to really access our integrity and to build this skill, because it's a skill of being accountable. And so I think, you talked about accountability partners. I think that's a really important piece when we're talking about developing accountability to ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for being here with me tonight. We want to remind you all that the 12 Steps to Freedom were created by Rhonda Britton, the CEO and founder of the Fearless Living Institute. If you'd like to know more about Fearless Living, please go to fearlessliving.org. If you'd like to know more about Terry and I, please go to fearlessgenerations.org, or you can find us on all the socials as Fearless Generations. We are so happy to be doing this podcast with you again in our 10th year. We appreciate all of you who come and listen every Monday night or whenever you listen, whenever that might be. We ask that you keep coming back. Go check us out at the website. All of the past 10 years are there, episode-wise, as well as you can find out about all the things that Terry and I are doing, our workshops, our group programs, our classes, and our upcoming retreat in September. All the information is there. Go check it out. And until then, everybody, be fearless.
Be fearless. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, ladies.
WowVegas.com, America's best social casino, with more than 900 free play games at your fingertips. Winners say wow when they play at WowVegas.com. Experience the real thrills of Vegas at home or on the go. Claim your free coins today at WowVegas.com.
Wow Vegas is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Conditions apply. See website for details.
WowVegas.com.
Where you're